Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, graduates, graduands and friends, thank you for this honour. I am truly grateful. The fartlek session Alan spoke about in his speech, trust me, my heart rate was much higher standing there under them lights in front of you guys than it was in any fartlek session I've ever done. I've also sweated a lot more standing there as well. But thank you, Alan, for your introduction. It was very kind. And as Alan mentioned, I did play football, international football for Scotland, but I was born here, in the hospital just up the road. I grew up here. I'm a Brightonian, and to have grown up here in this city with its own unique and strong identity fills me with gratitude and pride. So I hope you've all enjoyed your time here in Brighton, and I'm sure many of you will have been convinced to stay beyond your studies. My journey in football began here when, aged 5, I joined my local team, Honorary Hawks. I was a child chasing the ball around the pitch for the sheer joy of it, wholly unencumbered by the weight of expectation, as all children should be. Then as I matured, I became obsessed, and I mean obsessed, which is why I was really boring and didn't celebrate my A-levels and went for a run instead of drinking and partying with everyone else. But I was obsessed with becoming a professional footballer. It was my one dream in life. And my main dream was to play for my hometown team, Brighton Hove Albion. Mr. Tony Bloom, the owner, is here right now. I've never actually done that. I had a trial when I was 16. I was given a 3-week trial, and my parents' long and turbulent marriage was coming to an end, which was tough at the time. And so maybe I wasn't able to present the best version of myself. But at the end of the trial, they said I was good, but not quite good enough. Tony has since sacked every one of them people at the club, and they've now moved on. So we've all moved forward from that. But they chose not to sign me. So the first setback of many in my professional career. But like many people in pursuit of the dream, setbacks are inevitable. It's a well-worn truth that we become defined as human beings, not by our successes or victories, but by our failures or defeats. It is our responses to setbacks that shape us. I really believe this, and this is a message I've given to my team on so many occasions, and always will. My response was to throw myself into my A-levels at Varney College, whilst continuing to play football and give everything I had for non-league side Lewis FC just down the road. The painful disintegration of my parents' marriage meant that things had become more financially stretched at home than usual. And usual was pretty bad because my dad lived in the bookies and was a gambling addict. This meant I had to begin to fund myself, and so it was that I took on 3 part-time jobs that would fit around my studies and my football. One of these jobs was cleaning pubs. I'd have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 days a week to do this. I cleaned the Stammer pub at the Five Ways, which is now known as the Five Ways pub, really original, and the Franklin and Lewis Road. And if anybody present has frequented either of those, I'm sure there are a few in here, let me assure you that the brass base at the bottom of the toilet and doors has never been cleaner than it was in 2002, 2003. I took so much pride in those toilet doors, it was incredible. It's also where I learned that I needed glasses because I'd done the hoovering. My boss wanted to sack me on the first day because it was still an absolute mess. I went and got my eyes tested and wore glasses from there on in. So lots learnt. My other 2 jobs were at local corner shops, and I continued my A-levels too. And then I decided to take a shot. I had nothing to lose. The shot was to write letters to every single football league club in the country, all 92 of them. This letter detailed the teams I played for and described all of my attributes. It was a short letter. In this task, I had the invaluable assistance of 2 of my brothers. They researched the relevant person at each club and addressed the envelopes. Due to my scruffy handwriting, my own contribution at this point was to stick on the stamps. And this was before stamps were self-adhesive. So I underwent 92 licks in one session. And to this day, whenever my tongue is dry, I can still taste gum arabic. Although I'm not sure my tongue will ever be as dry as it is now. Anyway, we posted the letters and we waited, and we waited, and we got some replies. The total number of replies we received were 3. With just over 3% of the clubs replying, it felt like the odds weren't exactly in my favour. Bristol Rovers and Swansea City were far too far away. I definitely couldn't afford it. But the third club, Wycombe Wanderers, was just about close enough to be doable. I went for a week's trial and ended up staying there for 4 years. My time at Wycombe taught me so much. As a footballer, I went from a boy to a man. I was curious and hungry to learn, always. I've always known that I can never stop learning. That's why all of us are here today, because of a hunger for learning. It's a message I give to my kids constantly, to keep learning and stay curious. And being a footballer comes with pressure. I witnessed that early on and continue to witness it now. Many players who end up just surviving in a job that they dreamt of doing since they were kids, as I once was, playing for the sheer fun of it. This idea of playing football for the joy of it was one of many factors in setting up the Russell Martin Foundation. My ego's not big enough to name it after myself. I was asked to by the PFA to get some funding and all that, but anyway. In fact, I appreciate Someone finding a hat big enough for my head today is engineering, brilliant. Anyway, to grant the opportunity to children to experience that joy, children from all walks of life, but especially for those who don't have such easy access to opportunity, was so important to me. I myself grew up in a home beset by challenges. I know that some of you here today wouldn't have had the easiest time growing up. All of you have had one setback or another, moments of doubt and crisis in achieving your graduation maybe. And yet here we are. Here you are. Take a moment to really feel that. The pride you deserve to have in yourselves. It's a privilege to be here today and be part of your journey. I know that giving back and being in service to others is fundamental to personal happiness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Have I done something for the common good? Then I share the benefits." An ancient wisdom that is a universal truth. And the driving factor behind the foundation was and is to create opportunities for young people in my hometown. And it fills me with pride that I was able to help facilitate its creation. But the work of the foundation is carried out on a daily basis by a great team of staff led by Dr. Alan Sanders. I feel immense gratitude to Alan and to all of the team at the foundation for the work they do in impacting and benefiting thousands of young people in our community. He's also asked me to tell you he's the best coach I've ever had. And as he's sitting here today, I better do that. So Alan, you are the best coach I ever had. Thank you, Doc, for all of it. There is deep satisfaction in presenting opportunities to others, opportunities I perhaps didn't get. Of course, there are also many opportunities I did get. As writer Zig Ziglar said, success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. In 2019, my playing career was coming to a close at MK Dons. The plan had been to play for another 2 seasons maybe, when suddenly the manager was sacked. I was immediately summoned to the chairman's office, where I was offered the opportunity to become the new manager. And although it was totally unexpected at the time, I was prepared for it. I hung up my boots there and then after 16 years of playing, and I'm sure to the delight of many MK Don supporters at that time who had to watch me play that season. Football is an outcome-based sport, and this is highlighted and heightened in my job. Win some games and I'll be deemed successful. Lose enough games and I'll be sacked. This is the nature of my job, and I'll be deemed a failure. And I've learned in my career and in my life to be very cautious about how to define success. It seems to me that so much of the modern world defines success in very black and white terms. The idea that material and financial gain is a measure of success is something I cannot really hold to. I don't want to sound ungrateful. Of course, such gains are some kind of reward for success. But scratching beneath the surface, I've come to recognize that real success isn't so tangible or reductively defined. Yet I am in a job where my success is judged on results. Results which can change every 3 to 7 days on average. One week I can be hailed a hero, and the next a charlatan on the brink of losing my job. Mostly the latter. People think they know me from how my team and I behave for 90 minutes on a match day, but it's kind of crazy, but I love it. And I really feel that if you're doing something you love, day in, day out, then you're a big success. That's successful. The rest is just trimmings. My previous managerial posts at MK Dons and Swansea City hardly set the world on fire in terms of where we finished in those respective leagues, and yet to me they were hugely successful tenures. Successful because of the feeling we created at these clubs, the cultural changes we implemented, the connections we built with the players and staff, and I hope with some of the fans as well. The belief people had in me and the work we did every single day. I was incredibly grateful. And as a result of that, I and my staff were granted the opportunity to go and manage Southampton Football Club. We had to begin to build all over again, and we had a short time to do it. We arrived at the club when feeling was low after relegation. The scar tissue was still red raw with the players and the staff. The dispirited mood was palpable. It was vital that we hit the ground running. It felt like a daunting task to get back into the Premier League at the first time of asking, but actualising that by winning the playoff final at Wembley in May, one of the best days of my life, was an incredible feeling. A success? Yes, of course. But if we hadn't won that day, would that have meant we had failed? I'm not so sure. Each of you today are here because you deserve to be, because you've worked hard to achieve your degree. You had tutors throughout your courses, people wanting the best for you, supporting you and pursuing your dreams. It is both a team effort and yet a solo endeavour. I congratulate you all. Savour this day. These moments where you can share your pride with family and loved ones who in turn have each supported you. Acknowledge the setbacks each of you have undergone to be here today and feel grateful for them. These will become the good old days. Surely this is success, the feeling you have right now, all of you, in this room. Family, graduates, tutors. Because beyond this room, you will encounter some setbacks and disappointments as you forge your careers and your lives. But this day is a given, and it will always be yours. Take cognizance of your achievement as you prepare to continue your journey. I really thank you all for your time and listening to me speak, and I thank the University of Brighton for bestowing this honour upon me. I wish each of you the very best as you go about your lives with a diligence, consideration, the aspiration, the inspiration, and the perspiration, hopefully not as much as I'm feeling right now, that has gotten you here today as you continue to forge connections, remaining forever curious and staying brave. It has been a privilege to be here with you today. Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, graduates and friends, thank you for this honor. I'm really, really grateful.